This is the spoiler review for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. If you have not yet seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and you don't want to be spoiled, then you should hit pause right now and come back after you've seen the film. Or if you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or you don't care about spoilers, then just listen or watch on.
James, your camera keeps going out of focus.
Does it really?
Get its attention. Like, move your mic a little bit so you can see more face.
I think it's in enough.
All right.
I think you look great, James.
Thank you. Okay. Spoilers for the movie. Does anybody have anything burning at the top of their brain that they absolutely have to talk about? Do we start at Kang? Is that the big?
Well, okay. We
thing to
can start at
discuss?
Kang. Sure.
You guys were saying, why do we care about this Kang? I thought he died at the end. I thought we don't care about him anymore.
Well, so I'm sure he's not dead. I think he's sucked into something.
He's sucked into like his power module.
Right.
So I think he's going to come back like even more powerful than anything, because now he's like mostly power.
Can't he just be dead and we see a different Kang that we follow? Like
entirely possible, because there's supposedly millions of them.
I feel like the Kang in Loki was very different than him.
So
I feel like that was a different Kang.
The Kang in Loki was
he was so jokey,
benevolent Kang. Like wasn't he trying to keep the timeline? He was trying to protect the timeline from evil Kang, right?
So was this Kang.
No,
I didn't get that he was trying to protect the timeline. I think he was trying to, I don't know. I think Kang is always like his own interest.
This power hungry Kang.
Yeah, he's like, he likes being ruler of the timelines. And that's why he's at the end of time. Not because of some benevolent reason.
Right, but wasn't Loki Kang like trying to protect from incursions and then got killed by female Loki or something? And he said something along the lines of like, oh, you've unleashed him. Like I felt like Loki Kang was maybe controlling the timelines, but was also had maybe the universe's larger interests in mind.
Right. Also spoilers for Loki.
Yeah, well, it's a spoiler section, so.
But hopefully people have seen that.
I haven't seen Loki since it came out, so I just remember the Kang we saw in Loki was killed. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to say like, oh, you've made this mistake by killing me.
Yeah, I think every Kang thinks that they're the right Kang to control the timeline.
So
they're all like egomaniacs.
Right. So this Kang was banished to the quantum realm, correct?
By the other Kangs?
By the other Kangs who are doing what? Why do we care about the other Kangs?
Yes. Okay, here's the thing. That does not make sense, right? At the end of the movie, Paul Rudd is like, wait a second. I didn't let this guy get out, and he said if I don't do that, the bad Kangs are going to take over, kind of thing. And it's like, what if I've just doomed the world? But he literally didn't change anything. The other Kangs have been free to do whatever they want for the past 30 years,
right. Mm-hmm.
And nothing has happened. Like, what was the imminent threat?
Yeah, I don't know. But because Michelle Pfeiffer says something at one point, she says something like, oh, now that he has his armor, he has his power back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Kang's power comes from his armor? Like, that's the whole point of it?
Yeah, like, it seemed like he had no special abilities until he could power up the ship. That got him his armor.
Right.
The ship died again, but his armor stayed alive. And I think he just has advanced alien technology.
That's why he is scary.
Pretty advanced technology.
Since he could jump timelines, he figured out where the most advanced tech is and then brought it back with him to other timelines. That's his power. He has no superpower other than that. That and like he's seen all these other timelines, and so his ego is huge. You know what I mean? Like he's just, he thinks he can rule any timeline, basically, given enough time to rule the timeline.
And by he, you mean all the Kangs, not this one specific Kang.
All the Kangs share the same ego.
Okay, yeah.
Can I ask the ethics of wiping out entire timelines?
I would say unethical.
Is that as bad as, like, let's say genocide?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's genocide that it's hard to measure unless you can see other timelines per se. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
like if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it fall, doesn't make a sound kind of situation.
Are you saying you disagree that people should be able to eliminate timelines conscience free?
I would say it's an open question.
Okay, let's take it out of this movie. If you eliminated Andrew Garfield's timeline of Spider-Man, you just incinerated everybody that lived in that timeline, you would feel nothing because it's not unethical because it's just another timeline.
Well, here's my thought process, okay?
So it's only unethical if you do it in your own timeline, is what you're saying.
Maybe.
I think I would have to disagree the more we talk about this.
Right.
Well, I haven't said anything yet. I can't express myself.
So far,
All right,
you said that
hit
it's
us.
possibly
Zach.
not unethical to eliminate people outside your timeline.
Yeah, I don't. You guys have already decided.
You seem
without
open
I
to
must have missed a
genocide.
philosophy class that this was decided on.
Without being a real fascist, please defend your position that it's okay to just eliminate large swaths of people.
I don't know. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking.
Please.
If parallel universes exist, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm imagining that any slight variation that happens, right? Any coin flip, it creates a new parallel universe.
Right, they're
right?
infinite, yes.
So there's literally an infinite number of.
There's enough to go around, so just let's get rid of some.
No. I don't mean that. I just for every single little microscopic change, right? This bacteria crawls this way or that way. It's a totally new timeline with all 80 trillion lives
Sure.
in it, or whatever. It just seems like you wipe out one, and one that's almost 100% identical, almost. It's still there. Nothing's changed. You've lost nothing. They're almost identical copies.
All right,
The only difference is something that does not matter whatsoever.
let me flip this. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, a cosmic being appears to the entire universe and says, FYI, I'm going to wipe out your entire timeline. You're all not going to
Okay.
exist anymore. But don't worry, 2 timelines over, pretty much the same thing. Bye. How would you feel personally in that moment, knowing that your existence and the entire universe's existence will be wiped out? Plus, you just learn about new timelines, and the one next door is the same.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, is he wiping away the past as well as the future?
You are being wiped out of existence. The you
but
right here.
But not just present, but like he wiped out the past of my timeline and the future of my timeline, right?
Yeah, yes.
It just didn't exist
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
Sure.
Right? And then 2,
I'm not sure that's true.
if you wipe out a timeline, you're taking out the entire from point 0 to point 100.
But
Everything's gone.
not to bring it back to the movie we're supposed to be talking about, but in Ant-Man and the Ant-Man 3, I'm going to refer to it as
Ampersand.
that.
The Wasp.
In that movie, it's not that Kang wipes out timelines from when they started to when they ended. He just destroyed everybody in that timeline and ended life on the timeline.
He trims them. He's like pruning a tree. He just cuts it short.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's different.
So all he's doing is like if someone decides to go right or he could decide to go left, he just destroys the timeline where he went right.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because he's a rude dude.
Because
No, I get it, but
he's trying to like preserve like a prime timeline, right? Isn't that
Right.
the idea?
He's
So
trying to
a
get it
single
down to
timeline.
like a main timeline.
yeah, and like
single
anything
timeline.
any incursion outside that prime timeline, he lops it off. He's basically doing bonsai with time.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you could say that that's cruel to do bonsai trees, or you could say it's just like a bonsai tree. It's beautiful art.
I mean, it's who you ask, right? If
Okay.
you ask the bonsai artist, it's art. If you ask the tree, they might not like it.
See,
Who are we
here's-
asking here?
I don't think
I
the tree has
thought-
an opinion.
I thought at first that this discussion was dumb, but the more we've been talking about it, and the more Zach digs his heels in, the more interested in Kang I am all of a sudden.
right?
Because
Because you want to know more.
one of my issues with Kang versus Thanos is Thanos has like a very clear like the planet or the universe is being overpopulated. I'm going to snap and half of it goes away, and that's going to solve our issue, right? And he's not wrong. it would probably maybe not solve the issue, but at least put the worst of the issue off for who knows how long. It's also
years.
murdering half of the
Yeah,
population,
millennia.
so it's not a good thing.
He should have snapped and doubled the resources of the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are other ways to go about this. But the point is, he identified an issue that's a real issue and then came up with a bad solution for it. But the problem is real. With Kang, I didn't see any kind of like angle where I could identify with the idea that like the main baddie that they're building up to for this phase, I didn't see any real motivation to him other than like I want to be the top dog type of thing. But now that you guys are reminding me of like the whole pruning thing, he's very much a Thanos character in that he maybe thinks he's doing the right thing.
He definitely thinks he's doing the right thing.
Right. But the question is, why is he doing the right thing? Because you could just as easily like let things split and just nature take its course, and what does it hurt him? But if you're trying to consolidate power, then you have to keep all those timelines in check and move them all into one, and then you can just rule one instead of an infinite amount. So I guess the question that hasn't been answered is his motivation just to be the most powerful, and that's why he's killing off timelines, or is it because he is being the benevolent guy as seen in Loki?
It's probably a mix between the two. I guess my argument comes maybe fundamentally down to this. If there's an infinite number of timelines and then you subtract 3, so infinity minus 3, you still have infinity. I don't feel like you've changed anything. It's still infinite.
In the big scheme
Right.
of things, you haven't changed them unless you live in one of those 3. Then you might have a pretty strong opinion.
Yeah.
No, because you're passive. You have no idea. You're poofed out of existence.
If you did have an idea.
Okay,
But you are going to know
there's
that
many versions of you that are fine, and the only difference is because a grain of sand in a different galaxy flopped a different direction.
But
Otherwise, you're identical.
in this sense, Kang is, without getting theological, he's playing God, right? If we can
Yeah,
say
of course.
that multiple universes are a product of chaos, right? Chaos is the natural order of things. And in this case, Kang is trying to impose order upon chaos, and that is against the laws of nature.
I think he's also trying to save the universe from like, don't these incursions threaten the whole fabric of space time? Like,
Supposedly, I gotta watch Loki again, but like there's something about like incursions that get outside the prime can cause blah 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 bad things to happen. I don't
I think
quite
there was
remember
a huge war
what it
or
is.
something.
Sorry, say it again.
I think there was a huge war between the timelines.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
All right. I'm Team James on this one.
What do you mean by Team James?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you're the one.
I feel
We're
like
team you are not
Team
you.
genocide or team not. So
I would say that
Team
say that I agree with what Zach is saying in that I agree with the premise he's set up, but I don't agree with the idea that it's ethically all right to eliminate a timeline, because if you put yourself in the shoes of anybody in that timeline, then no, I don't care if a grain of sand it separates me from the next timeline. I don't want you killing the loved ones that I personally know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like human self-preservation will say, no, I don't want to be the one that, why should all of us be the ones that die? Go get the one next to us that got the grain of sand going to the left instead of the right. You know what I mean?
That's twisted.
I'm just saying.
You would destroy an entire
Yeah,
timeline
so
to save your loved
Us
ones?
versus them, and there's no choice. Yeah.
Just to save your loved ones?
James would be a collaborator
Yes, you would.
so fast.
You would kill 100 trillion life forms just to save
100 trillion on my side. Yes.
100 trillion. Okay. I thought just for like your brother. You know, it's
No.
like, okay.
Well, I mean, my brother's one of those 100 trillion. So yeah.
When-
You'd kill another version of your brother though.
I don't know that guy. That guy went left.
If you took a chance to get to know him, James.
I can't.
when the fascists come, James will be the first one to narc on his neighbors. He'll be
Mhm.
like, hey, I need
Absolutely.
food. But let's talk about that guy's
Okay.
doing.
Another spoiler topic.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like the intelligent ants subplot was a little underdeveloped.
It's
Okay,
really
so
dumb.
this gets into my greater issue with Quantumania. So the quantum realm. Can we kind of use this as a launching point?
Sure.
All right. So Michelle Pfeiffer is trapped in the quantum realm for 30 years, and
Mhm.
she experiences 30 years of time. Okay. Paul
Right.
Rudd, or whatever, Scott Lang, at the end
Mhm.
of Ant-Man and the Wasp, is trapped inside the quantum realm for 5 Earth years, which to him feels like 5 hours.
Mhm.
Okay. No reason why 30 for her and 5 for him. And then the ants in this movie also go to the quantum realm along with our characters. And apparently the ants experience 1,000 years while they're down there.
Why?
Where? Why? Like,
And they all fell down the same hole.
Yeah.
Why did the ants all go into this one time loop? And the other ones didn't.
and then how did the ants then, if there's time loops down there, which I never explained, then the ants just like walked over to the next time loop where our people were? Because Hank
why were the
Pym
ants
called them.
big? Why were the ants big?
I don't know. The ant thing was so dumb because it felt like they're like, okay, Kang is super powerful. None of our heroes
What could beat
can defeat him. Like, we can't punch him hard enough. What if we have super ants?
Didn't the ants have like little things on their backs that like made them big?
Yeah, because
did
they
they?
had 1,000 years of evolution down in the quantum realm.
Yeah. All good questions, Kyle. I'm not sure there's good answers.
And they
to any
left
of
the
those.
ants there in the quantum realm.
Well, they were having a good time.
Were they?
They're ants. They don't.
No,
they-
they're ants that are way more intelligent than we are.
They're super ants that can defeat.
were they
a
way
Time
more
Lord.
intelligent?
Yes, they could invent.
They didn't even talk.
Oh, they talked to Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They talked to the original Ant-Man,
James,
Michael Douglas.
Every person who
remember
can
this.
talk, incredibly intelligent.
I'm
no,
just
they
saying.
talked through his earpiece.
Okay.
They communicate with him. Yeah, they're more intelligent than us.
I don't know about that.
What? They defeated Kang.
They're definitely more intelligent than us.
They defeated Kang. They defeat
Yeah.
Kang's army. They don't defeat Kang.
Don't they swarm him?
Mm,
Remember, he chews through the force field kind of thing.
Kyle?
I have no idea how this movie ended. It was
Me neither.
it was a
And
blue
they-
and brown blur.
No,
When did you
They
watch
basically
it?
zombie attacked him.
I watched it a week ago.
Okay, so you've had a week too.
I saw it last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah.
We'll trust Zach's recollection. then,
If
'cause
I remember
don't
correctly,
remember.
he was swarmed. Right, he had like some blue shield up or something,
They started chewing.
and then
through
the
it.
ants.
But how
swarmed
does he
him.
get blasted into the energy thing?
Zach?
I don't want to spoil that.
This is spoilers.
This is a spoiler
So,
section.
I don't remember. I have no idea. I don't.
All right,
have
now
any idea.
the super spoiler section will be
Movie's
coming
so
up after
forgettable.
this.
Yeah. One of us has to leave for that.
Another issue I had with the movie in general that's spoilery is like, man, did they wuss out on the stakes at the end? I mean, they had every opportunity to kill the mother, kill the father, just something to like make this thing matter on some level. I mean, this is the
Nothing.
third movie in
Kill
the
Scott
Ant-Man trilogy.
Lang. Right.
Yeah, just do something that mattered that is going to have a longer effect on these characters, a longer tail effect. I mean, kill Evangeline Lilly. She's an anti-vaxxer anyway. Get her out of here, you know? This is like the perfect moment.
Wow,
And they
James.
wouldn't do it. What? She doesn't care about life anyway.
Oh.
Should I cut that? I'm just saying.
Now we
There
know
was
where James
lots of-
falls on team genocide.
There was lots of opportunity here and to make things really matter, to give Kang some stank, you know what I mean? To give him some meat, to be like, okay, why is Scott Lang going to go hard on him in the next phase? I mean, if he killed his wife, there's a reason.
Literally, the only reason we have to not like him
Mhm.
is a couple little memory shots that
He killed
Michelle
other
Pfeiffer got when
universes.
she touched his thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, now,
Oh, that's right.
let's specify what you're talking about.
She touched.
Hey,
she
touch
touched
the
Kang's
ship.
thing.
She
And
set
then she got
herself
some memory
30
shots.
years and she had needs. Okay, it was right there in the movie.
um,
And she got some memory shots.
that was all weird too.
Like
I was
the
like,
Bill Murray stuff.
If you touch his machine, you get all of his memories.
yeah, I don't remember that being set up or like, it was just like all of a sudden she touched his power generator. This is all sounds so bad. She touched a part of his ship, and all of a sudden, all these genocidal memories entered her brain, and it was like, why did that happen? There's nothing that set this up as a concept or an idea or anything.
That's the one flaw of a interdimensional power generator is you touch it and it reveals all your demons, and they just can't figure out how to get that feature out of there.
I mean, it might have been helpful if they had talked about how he was like, he had figured out some kind of tech where he was one with his ship or something like that.
I think that was the case.
Do they say that?
It's like cerebral engine or something. They said.
Oh, that's like X-Men stuff.
It's like connected to his brain.
That's X-Men stuff. Yeah.
See, James, if we had recorded this episode immediately after we saw the movie, we would have known all these things, but we just forgot all this inconsequential stuff in the last week because it didn't matter. This movie didn't matter.
I thought Bill Murray was good.
He was fine.
Yeah.
He's like everybody else in the movie. It was there and then it wasn't.
I mean, it was kind of like a retread of Cloud City and what's his name?
Lando
Calrissian.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was Lando. Yeah.
He's like the white Lando. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's my nickname for you, is White Lando, but yeah.
Yeah. He was fine. I mean, isn't he canceled too at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
because he was like abusive to somebody on a set or something like that.
Verbally abusive. That. I don't think he's. Yeah.
Oh, was it just verbal?
I think he's a jerk.
Just verbal.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays jerk characters, right? That's like his whole thing. So maybe he's too what's the word?
Method.
Yeah.
He's Method Man.
He's Method Man. He's like the white Method Man.
The White Lando, the White Method Man.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else spoilery?
We covered it.
We covered everything. I don't think we covered, it feels like we covered nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat on the bone still.
I don't think the
No,
writers.
it feels like we've been talking about a movie that's supposed to be consequential. This is the movie that's supposed to kick off, like the next phase.
Well, this has pushed the needle forward more than any other movie so far
in a while.
The series, yeah.
I mean,
only because they gave us a bad guy.
Yeah, only because it's the bad guy that they've pre-announced is the main bad guy.
I wish we didn't know
anything about Kang.
No, I wish we didn't know that there's this arc of phases and,
right.
Just let it creep up on us that like, oh, we're building to something.
That's what it felt like the original run was. Like the first, like by phase 2, halfway through, you're like, oh, like they have a plan. But definitely in the first phase, I feel like they retconned that. I don't know if there was a huge plan. They're just making good movies or decent movies at the time.
I think they probably had it in the back of their mind.
Right.
That like, wouldn't it be cool if we connected all these and like we had a big movie?
Let's throw in some Nick Fury here and see if it works out.
How did this compare to Strange World? I know you saw that.
I like Strange World better because I thought Strange World was a actual strange world and they interacted with that world and explored it. And this one, I mean, you got like a scene of them riding a beetle or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, a lot of it looked like 2 or 3 characters standing in front of green screen. And they were shot like maybe from like the knees or the waist up. And they were in the foreground. And the background was just whatever VFX they threw up there.
How out of place was the leader lady of the rebels?
Oh, we didn't even talk about...
She was dressed like she's from Conan the Barbarian or something.
We didn't even talk about this whole rebellion that's going on, which seemed...
And the Empire.
Yeah, it seemed completely pointless. They just need to give Cassie something to do. And so they show that she's like, whatever. She's like helping homeless people at the beginning getting arrested and then make her a freedom fighter, in this quantum realm for whatever reason.
All that stuff was very Star Warsy. Too.
Yeah. But it didn't matter, and you had Xena leading them, and it was just...
I mean, not to go back to the multiverse ethics discussion, but what does anything matter in the quantum realm? Like, who gives a crap? You know what I mean? Like, it's like when you see an anthill, and you have to walk that direction, and you have to step on the anthill. Do you step on it?
Okay,
matters to
another
the ants.
question I have. Another question I have.
Okay.
All these Kangs from all these different timelines, right?
Uh-huh.
Blah, 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 blah. This Kang, let's say he died. Let's just say he died, okay? Because I don't know if he died or not.
Sure.
Aren't there like an infinite number of timelines where he didn't die? Right? Like, who cares? Like, there's ones where Lang died and didn't stop this Kang. Like,
Sure.
the well of Kangs never runs dry.
Right.
It doesn't matter what happens in this world because there's another Quantumania world where that Kang survived. That particular
And
Kang.
that Kang won.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what are we doing here?
What? Yeah, but that's not as interesting as Egyptian Kang. So what's the?
No, Egyptian Kang was incredibly uninteresting. that offended me that they have an
Egyptian
Egyptian Kang that speaks in like a raspy voice.
Sure.
I'm uninterested in raspy Kang.
I just like that.
Why are they working together?
I like that the different versions of Kang actually looked different, whereas when they generated all the
Kang.
different iterations of Ant-Man, for some reason they all looked like carbon copies, except
Yes.
for the Baskin Robbins
the
one.
Oh, there's
Baskin
one.
Robbins.
That's right. Yeah.
And again, wasn't funny. Why was it? Yeah, why not have a million different?
Yeah, even if they like all had the same costume but like slight variations, that would have been
Yeah.
cool. Or like different hairstyle. Just do something to randomize all the variations of Ant-Man. Instead, they all looked exactly like Paul Rudd in the Ant-Man suit, except for Baskin Robbins guy. Didn't make any sense
because it's
from
it's-
like just a concept
Yeah.
basis.
So did Ant-Man genocide all the different versions of him by destroying that thing?
No, because that was like a quantum realm thing, not like a multiverse.
yeah. Those were all possible Ant-Mans that he was able to
Right.
then bring back into one. Which again, I forgot about that whole part until you just said it right now. Like if you had asked me, I was like, "What do you mean multiple Ant-Mans?" Like, oh, that's right. He was getting split up into a million Ant-Mans. And
Mhm.
this movie is so so forgettable. Is I think the best way to put it.
Unforgettable.
It's unforgettable. You can't not forget it.
It's so forgettable. It's unforgettable.
Right. Yes.
Got it.
Good.
Okay. I feel like we've milked it enough
We've
now.
milked it. We've covered it. And it's a long episode anyway.
Yep. Anybody changing their letterbox score? Or are we still?
I'm tempted to go 2.5, but I'll stick to 3.
Oh, you almost went down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because it is so lame.
All right.
No, it's Scott Lang. Not so lame. Come on. Come on. Twiddle him.
Fair
Let's get this
enough.
going.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.